All right, so let's talk about Git. And before we actually getting detail in Git, so let's talk about, have you finished your pre-class work first? So, oh, wait, but this is not Pear Deck. So I think we cannot respond to this, but I believe you did. Currently, we are having an issue with the Pear Deck, so I couldn't connect it to the Pear Deck. But since I fixed this, I'll share the Pear Deck link with you. I believe many people has already done this, and so let's talk about Git. And sometimes the people is just getting confused with Git and GitHub. Well, we will come to that point, the Git and GitHub things, because, or if you talk about it, the previously, so the Git is the system itself. GitHub is the website that produces a Git system for you. So it's not just only the GitHub that provides this system to you. There are a lot of other websites is providing Git functionality to you. And even many companies are hosting their own Git repositories on their own servers. But again, the GitHub is a web service, is a website that's just giving a service to you to store your code, store your Git repositories inside their website, so inside the application. But Git itself is the system, okay? So the GitHub is the website that hosts your codes, that hosts your Git repositories. Git is the system. So we are talking about Git, not GitHub. Okay, so these are maybe quite complication at the beginning because it's just some text here. So what is the workflow? What is the local repo? What is the branch? We know the branch, but what is the branch in Git? So what is merge? What is conflicts? What about the repos, the remotes? And so then in GitHub, yeah, we will come to that point. What is GUI? And contribution to the public repository. So again, repository, or just the short term is repo, we call it, and a forking, pull requests, and even more. So these are the things that we are going to talk through and also learn through. And you will learn by practice, by the way. But again, this terminology is quite complex at the beginning. You are not just beginning to this journey. You already started, right? So you took this path already, and then you already had many things that's just complicated. Remember the computer fundamental lessons from that I gave the lecture for. You said there are too many things to remember, but now I believe you just took that challenge already, and you already got those keywords right. So at the beginning, everything just seems complex, but when you just go through, and everything's got better and better. So this is another thing. This is another topic. But if you are being in an IT world, that is actually a system we use. We store our codes in there, and not just storing a code, but it's the basic functionality. Storing your codes, the source code, the source code that we store in Git. But now, how about the system? How the system is working actually? What is the workflow that we will follow with the Git? So this is going to be the first topic that we will discuss. So version controlling, that's the point. What is version controlling? And then what is Git? And after that, how we can create a Git repository. Then we will just work on basic Git commands. And believe me, these are the things that you will always use. This is the basic. Even you are an advanced developer, a very, very professional senior led developers or tech leads, but you will still stick with the basic Git commands. And so that's actually, if you can grab this, then the rest is just fine. And yes, of course, how Git workflow works. All right, so these are the topic. All right, if you have any questions, please put in the Slack so I can answer. Okay. Now, Git. What do you know about Git? So can you put in the Slack if you have some idea already about Git or the pre-class homework? What did you get from Git? What did you understand from Git? So you can put in the Slack, please. I'm just reading out. If you have some, it's version update system, or control version system, or what else? I basically describe Git just like storing my source codes in. This is just very basic things. I'm looking for a place to store my codes in. Why? By the way, while you are giving answers, so I'm just talking. So why I am going to store in somewhere instead of my computer? Because I believe you are not just a first-time computer user. You've been using computers maybe more than at least 5 years, I believe. So you are using computers, you're using mobile phones. How many times have you lost your files? Your photos, your pictures. I think everybody lost their contacts on their phone. So this happens. If you store something locally, that happens. Sometimes get wrong, and then your computers just got reset, and you have no data, you have no photos, and then you're just grabbing some USB sticks with you, you're just having some external hard disk with you. Remember those times before cloud systems. You were bringing that hard disk with you to store all the data in. What happens? What if this hard drive broken? You will also lose your files and etc. So these are all electronic devices. These are all sensitive data and the sensitive devices. Once you drop it, you lost it. So then cloud comes in. So we can store our files in the cloud, right? So cloud is actually, we talk about the clouds already. Cloud is actually another computer. We store in somewhere in another computer, basically. They are giving a service to us. So, well, now about Git. So we have codes. Now we are developer. We are building Facebook. So remember yourself. Put yourself into this. Really, I forgot. Sorry. Mark Zuckerberg. Put yourself into the Mark Zuckerberg shoes. You are in the university dorm, and then you are building Facebook, and then you are storing all the codes on your computer, and then your electricity shut down and your computer is shut down. When you turn it on, blank screen, it says no operating system found. You lost your files, you lost your codes, you lost your Facebook, you lost to become a billionaire. Oh, so if we have some systems like Git, we could put our all codes in and we can store it. And anytime we can just fetch it, we'll talk about this terminology. We can fetch it, we can pull that code in to our computer. When my computer is just shut down or just broken, I can even have a copy of my codes in somewhere that I will call Git Repository. But this is the very basic functionality about Git. They store your code, but that's just basic thing, okay? But of course, many of you already gave some answers. I was waiting for yours. So many of you said that is a version controlling system, kind of. Tracking changes, yes. Source code hosting, yes, that's right. It's an open source, yes, it is, it's free. It's least licensed, but it's free. Okay, we got some different answer from Hilal. It's just she's just saying sharing, and working with other team members we call collaborating. So you collaborate with other people. Yes, the Git stores your files. Git is kind of a hosting your files, but you can also collaborate with others. You can control the versioning, and once you are not satisfied with some functionality, you can just get back to the previous functionalities. So you will never lose any path, any track, any part of your development cycle. So because we are building up and more and further, but when something goes wrong, you have to just get back to the previous working version. So then the Control-Z doesn't work, because once you save your files, the Control-Z, do you know that undo will never work. or redo, Control-Shift-Z will never work. If you open a Word document, you type in, you make a mistake, you can just put Control-Z, which is undo, then you can get all the changes back. But you can even get back, roll further, like the redo things, that's fine. But in coding, it's called versioning. So once you have one version, once you have some functionality working on, and you want to put on something because that second version will affect the first version negatively or positively, and most probably negatively, then your program will crash. Do you remember the WhatsApp failure? I think 2 weeks ago, Facebook, WhatsApp is just stop. What happened there? Have you ever checked? So if you're wondering, go internet and check what happened to Facebook that time. Maybe kind of this functionality or versioning systems failure. Who knows? Just go and check out. All right. Okay. All right. So then we've got really great answers from you. And let's continue. Okay. So Git is an open source distributed version controlling system. You don't have to memorize it, but it's basically this. It's not about GIT. It's not like global internet things. No, it's not. It's just open source distributed version controlling system. So we basically control our versioning on our development system, and it's open source. Yes. Okay. Then next question. What is version control? I just try to explain at the beginning, and let's talk about a little bit more deeper. So again, these answers should be on the pair deck, but now the pair deck is not working. So I believe you've got a few answers, but can you put, if you have more about version controlling, not about the Git, but the version controlling? Once we are talking about version control, what comes to your mind? In my mind, Windows 3.1 comes in. Windows versioning, not XP, not Windows 7, not 8, not 10. Windows 3.1. It was my first Windows computer, so operating system. So what comes to your mind when it comes to the version control? What it comes to you when we talk about versioning? What else could have versions? Recording changes from Dennis. Thank you. You're keeping your source code working on a project, securing your codes mostly. Tracking updates. Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right. So as we have this slide, it says tracking the changes. So that's the first thing. Unlimited undos and redos. So it's unlimited. So anytime you're not satisfied, you just get back, you undo it, and just want to get back everything in the further versions, then redo it, opposite of the undo. The time travel is similar. Time travel is actually not undo or redo. Time travel, I'm right here in version 0.3, let's say 3.7. And from 3.7, you can get back to 2.7. It's just like a time travel. So you can anytime go to any previous version, you can update that older version, and you can get back to the new version. Why? Not every software can work every computer. Look at your phones. What is the latest Android or iOS version your phone supports? What if Apple stops developing the older versions of iOS? You can't use it. If Apple stops fixing the bugs from the earlier versions, let's say iOS 12, but now it's the latest version is, I'm not sure, iOS 14 or 15. So So they still develop the older versions. So it's like this. I am here. I can go any version, anytime. I can build, I can fix, I can add more feature to that older version. So some people with older phones can still use it. And then I can get back to the newest version. And then I can even build that newest version. That's the time travel. So anytime you can get back to any version, you just continue developing it. That's it. Collaborative development environment. Yes, you work with other team members in your development team. And we can compare the changes. We call it difference. What is changed? When is changed? Who changed it? Why is it changed? You can even follow them. Why? Because the person, the developer who makes changes to the code, they put comment. So they explain what they really did in that feature. Then you can anytime go and check what happened. Let's say I just put the code, but without comment. Nobody knows what happens there. So, but if I comment out that I did this, add this functionality, delete that functionalities, change the button color, let's say. So you explain it, everybody knows what happened exactly that version. So anytime you can just compare who changed, what has changed, when is it changed, and why is it changed. That's the good thing about version controlling. Okay, yeah, I was right, 15. Well, I'm not following, but I just guess. Thank you very much, Hussein, Yusuf. All right, okay, continue. Now, while we're working version controlling system, we have two ways, but we are using this one mostly. We are not using the centralized. Remember the networking lesson? There was a centralized network system. Once your internet connection lost, you can't connect your codes. You can't work it. It happens. So that's kind of a central. Your codes, your source codes, and everything in the central repository. All your development, all your colleagues, all the other developers are working in the central repository. But once that connection is lost, not just the internet, but sometimes intranet. So once that connection got lost, then you can't work on. Then, so we will jump into distributed. That's why we said at the beginning is distributed. So what is the description of the Git? It's distributed version control system. So that is the keyword, distributed. So what is distributed? It's like distribution. So we have a central repository. But again, what is repository? So we have a central repository, and then our developers can pull all the codes to their computer. They work on, and once they are finished, they can push the codes back to the central repo. I'll call this repo, okay? Repo, the central repo. So that central repo, again, I will come to that point, but it's about Git. So pull and push. Pull, get all the codes first, make your changes, push it. And once you push, the other developers pull that code in, they develop their own feature, and they push their own feature too. And I think afternoon session we will get DevOps, and then in the DevOps you will find out this very useful while using in the DevOps way of development. Okay, that's it. We have our source code in somewhere we call central repo, but we don't have to connect the internet. On your computer, you pull it. Of course, you need an internet connection to pull it, but after you pull, you can work anywhere without internet. But when you need to push back, then yes, you need an internet connection to push your codes back to the repo. and other friends can pull that code in and also they work on and push back. So the pull and push is the two terminology about Git or version controlling. Any question here? Yes. No question. Okay, perfect. Now, as you see here, we have, again, we will do some practice today. We will create something, and actually we always do it if you are using computer, right? We create things. We open a Word document. We just open internet. And what do we do else in the computer? We save things. Yes. And then later on, when we get back to the computer, we edit things. And then we save the things again. I don't know, have you had any project in the university or high school maybe? How was the versioning system in your Word documents? Latest version, latest version, final version. What was the longest file name you had in your projects in the university? We had many. In the Word document, let's say you're writing an essay and then you are working with a team member. Do you remember? Or you didn't have any project like that? And then your file name is, okay, latest version, the final one. Top final version. Final. It never ends, does it? So if we would have a Git or version controlling, then it would be really great, right? So we couldn't have that names and then very long file names, but I still remember those file names because we are working a team of 5 or 10. I do edit one Word file. I send an email to a friend. They do their edit. They change the file name, and they send that file to another team member. We didn't have the internet really cloud that time. So there's no Google Documents things anyway. So we didn't have. We're just working with emails and the Word documents. And that other friend is doing their changes and then put the file name in different. And then we really got lost with the versioning. Which version we had that? Oh, that version was very good. So let's get back to that version back again. So we can't. That's because of that file naming things. We can't do that. All right. So that never ends. But with version controlling systems, they have some ends. So there's a kind of an explanation here. And then what we actually will do very basically, and then we'll not do it totally, total changes like this here. But what we will do basically, we will create, like today also we will do basic things with a Git, but let's say we have a resume. That's what I just trying to explain. So this is exactly the date of the creation is this. So you have just started your resume, and then you have added then you have added some changes in your document, and then you change the file name again, and well, maybe you didn't like the name, you changed it again, so you modified it, and then you decided to add some photos here, so then you change the layout back again, and now the file name is still same. Well, it's just something that maybe you like the text you put in here and then you change the text here. It's really hard to get back now in your computer if you didn't save in different file names. So, but in version control, as you see here, it tracks your record changes, and then anytime you can, you can follow up which date, which is changed, when, who, then you can see everything about the changes. So that's really easy to track that changes again. Okay. All right. Again, version control systems tracks and records the changes files over time, can track any type of file, even images, but of course, most commonly for codes, and contains extra information such as date, author, and a message explaining the change, as I just explained at the beginning. So who changed, which is author, when is changed, it is date, why is it changed is a message explaining that changes. So that's version controlling. So we have many things. We talk about many things now. Version controlling system, VCS, Git, and we have GitHub. Well, they're all about version controlling. So the Git is one of the version controlling system. You can put anything on it. You can put videos, you can put on images, but you know it's really good for the codes. So you can see the track your code changes, which line is deleted, which line is added. All right, beautiful. Now our pair deck is ready. So this is our code. So now we can continue with the pair deck. While you're connecting the pair deck, I'm just here, I'm waiting for you. While you are connecting, so we are 43 here. Perfect. Joinpd.com, AMNQQC. Let me just rewind that to the page we are talking about. All right, so this one, I believe. Yes, AMNQQC. The website is joinpd.com, joinpd.com. All right, Ulri also sent the code, the link for you. Thank you, Ulri. All right. Yes. And let's continue. We can retrieve the previous version of the file at any time. And sometimes you delete the files, but you can still recover those files. And you can use it locally on your computer, your current computer, or collaboratively with others. Collaboratively with others, as we talk at the distributed system. So if you have a team of 5 and you can work collaboratively and even on your local computers. So just what you need to do is pull the codes, pull the main codes, pull the active codes to your local computers, work anywhere, make changes anywhere. You don't affect others. And then whenever you are ready, then you just push your files to the local repo, and then let everybody get that changes. Very nice. You don't do it live, because once you change anything in live, it just affects all other codes. That's why it may just crash. So before it crash, we test our codes, and this is the topic of the DevOps today. And then after the tests are passed, then those changes are taking an action after some time, after the test pass. All right. So we talk about the version controlling system. Yes, that was the one part. Then talk about the Git. Okay. Again, we can say Git is a software, but that software is kind of, let's say, help us to control versioning on our codes. Today, actually, we will install a Git. So we will see that it's a software. We will download Git and we will just double click and we will install our computers. That's it. So it's basically a software. It's the content tracker. Again, tracking the files, changes, and everything, the content, because whatever you have in a file is a content. So you track the contents, changes, and that's because of it is version controlling system. So we know all about the version controlling system. It applies to the Git as well, because Git is a version controlling system. And yeah, and again, why do we need Git? It's why do we need version controlling system? To backing up things, archiving things, versioning things, keeping the history of things. That's because we need Git. Actually, that's because we need version controlling system. So whatever applies to version control system applies to Git. Git is the software. You can undo the changes, you can compare the things, you can make a collaboration, you can code review, you can blame. It's not like, you did that, I blame you, you made the changes, the things will get worse. No, it's not just that blame. But again, you know why those source code get just problem. So because there's an explanation of the code changes. So anytime you can track it, you know who make it. So it's basically blaming, actually identifying who made those changes. Okay. So we have local Gits, we have distributed Gits. We will come to, these are just text, but you will understand why we get in practice. So the local Git is on your computer. So whatever you make on your computer is local. Nobody can see it until you send your changes to the centralized repo. And that's distributed Git, again, the team centric. So then we can work together with all others. So because everybody can get those files into their computers. So we share, we make a collaboration with them. So this automatically, actually, naturally, it's team centric. So Git is a distributed version control system. And all right, these are just too much explanations. We need to make some practice. It's just talking. Okay. Let's say that we have 3 people, okay, in the team. And we all have the files, but we all have a different version. Like I talked at the beginning, we're working in a team of 3, and then we are working in the same file, but everybody has different versions. How can we combine them? So these are their local copies. So everybody has their local copies. But then they have their remote copies as well. So local is my computer, remote is somewhere in the cloud. We call it remote. So we download the code from the remote to our local computer. Again, so we call it, we have a local copy. The other friend has another local copy. Maybe they have the same local copy, but when they make the changes, all local copies are different. Then once they're making, the changes ready, and then they upload their changes back to the remote copy. But that time, because everybody has different versions, then there will be a kind of conflict. However, we will come through all these topics, these conflicts, and then we will learn how to solve those conflicts. But here it says you have the backup actually in the remote. Anytime you get lost your files on your local, there's always a copy in the remote. Remote is your codes or your text, your files, your folders somewhere in the cloud. So whenever you get lost, whenever your computer crashes, but that never, your cloud version never crashes. If remote crashes, then you have the local one. If they crash both time, good luck. You need to get another backup, maybe in another system. So don't rely on one system. Like if you have some codes in the GitHub, keep backup to another repositories as well. It's the good one. I hope you will never get these 2 conflicts, like you don't get crashes in your 2 computers. I hope, All right. So that's basically a backup. So another thing that is a collaboration again. So we talk about version controlling. So it's the same thing. We do collaborations. So we have many other friends in the team. So we basically assign the tasks to them. Okay, you develop the button, you change the button color, and you make the button clickable. So we have 3 people. So we assign the tasks to everyone. So this guy has made the changes, created the button, and then pushed to the remote server, remote repo, or centralized repo. And the person who is going to change the color of the button, get the codes back to their local computer, change the color, and then pull back. And then this guy who is responsible of the JavaScript, let's say, make the button clickable and take an action. So pull the codes back, make the changes, and then push back. You may say that, oh, isn't it make the things slower? That's just an example. Of course, not 3 people is working one button, but it's basically this. Okay. Yes. So the first 2 terminology we learn is the pull and push. And the other terminology we will talk about, the repository. Repository is actually our project folder, let's say our working directory. But it's not just any directory on our computer. For example, we have many folders in our computers, yes, but they are not repository. But when you get that working directory initialized with Git, then it turns to a repository. So we can say that a directory or storage or folder where your projects can live. It's not just folder, it's not just files, but when you make a folder initialized with Git, it's now a repo. Because it's in your local computer, in your own computer, it's local repository. When the times comes and then push it to the GitHub, then the repository in GitHub is remote because it's not here. It's in the cloud. So, any question? Repo. Repo is a folder, let's say, mostly a folder. It's just initialized a Git. Then it becomes a repo. We can call it repo. So that is the place where our codes, where our projects will live. They are on our computer, so they are local. They are on, let's say, GitHub, so they are remote. Okay. All right. Oh, now it's now the practice time. Okay, so make your computers ready for what? Because we are going to work something mysterious today. I'm not sure if you have practiced this before, but you haven't, then you have seen some hacking scenes in the movies, right? The black screen, the people are just coding, there's nothing visual, and today we will do that. I hope you're getting excited. And you will not break your computer, don't worry. At least you will lose all your files, that's fine. Just kidding. I hope you will not lose any files, but we will make some practice and you will enjoy it. So what is now local repo? How can we create a local repo? So we will do all these things today. Now, the thing is, I want to see in the class chat, oh, we have a break. Yes, we need a break. Sorry about this. I was just so excited to continue. Anyway, yeah, after the break is a good timing. So after the break time, we will come back and then we will start working on these black screens to creating the Git repo. It's just fun, believe me. And I just wanted to say something, but I forgot. So I'll tell you after the break then. All right, so let's give a break. Don't break anything. I'll see you back. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. If you need to download anything, if you just want to download the things, let me just remind you, Git download. If you want to download something in the break, so just download. So just say Git download in Google, and I can share this link with you. We don't need GitHub. We don't need GitHub. We need Git, and which is this. And if you're using Windows computer, this, Mac, this, Linux, this, and good luck. I'll see you after the breakdown. All right, so we will continue with the Git practice. You will see me soon, by the way. Yeah. I think there are people having some problem with the downloading Git, maybe. If so, we have Ulrich here, and just mention Ulrich, and hope he will help you. Once you install the Git, you don't have to change many things while installing. Just keep the current default selectors, and you don't have to change them. Just go next. It will be fine, I believe. So Serjan, it seems that you're all fine. You don't have to do anything. You're good to go. Once you install the Git, actually, once you finish installing the Git, it's just click next. That's it. You don't have to change anything at all. So just accept everything that Git offers to you. Just click next. I believe it will just install right away. So we have something to check the Git. Well, but before, okay, I'm sending just a poll to ask you which operating system you're using. So just to see who is using which operating system. So there's just poll active in the Slack if you're looking for the class chat. It's ask you that which operating system you're using. Somebody mentioned Homebrew. If you're using Homebrew, you can know how to install the Git, I believe. But if you don't know what Homebrew is, just go to this website and then click the Mac. It already offers you and detect your operating system, and just click download for your computer. So you just click that, and then you will continue next, and it will all set up, and that's fine. And if you have Windows, it's the same thing. It will ask you to download for Windows, so you will click and then next, and then install Git. And even if it is Linux, it will give you some, installation, I believe, or just tell you that how to install Git, kind of this text command line stuff. So Windows is an operating system. Just click and then install for your computer. And I'm not sure if the Mac is same. Yeah, the Mac is same as the Brew install Git. But if it doesn't work, if this doesn't work for you, then it will most probably ask you to install Homebrew first. Then you will run this code, and it will be okay. So once you install the Git, the next question from Sergeant, how do you find you have it? Okay. First of all, that is the thing that we will check out. If you're on Windows, you will open the Windows menu and say CMD. You will search for CMD, then it will bring up a command line for you. In Mac computers, most of the Mac computers have terminal. So my terminal look like something like this, but it doesn't really matter what it look like, but it's my terminal. And in Windows, what you will search for is CMD command line, or if you install the Git just now, there should be a Git Bash software installed on your computer. just search if you have Git Bash on your computer, if it is installed. Most probably it is installed to your computer. If you accept while downloading the Git, it most probably installed that Git Bash for you.
So the bash is not the same thing as the Git CMD?
Wait.
Because I see both.
Sorry, what is it again? Can you repeat?
So this is Semi. So I downloaded Git and I have Git Bash and Git CMD.
Well, you will open Git Bash.
So what is the difference though? Isn't it the same thing?
Well, I'm not a Windows user. I don't remember what it is, but I believe it was the Git Bash.
Okay.
Yeah, just look for the Git Bash. Let me check out if my Windows computer has something about Git. So because this Git lesson is always different with the Windows and Macs, because it looks different. And I always have some conflicts from the student side. So let me just open my Windows computer to also demonstrate what Windows looks like as well. If I can, let me check. So I will let you wait a little bit. I will start up my Windows. Yes, I will connect with my Windows very, very soon. So I can demonstrate the Windows computers as well.
Sir, if we run the git version command on our Mac terminal, and if it's showing the version, we're good to go, right?
Yes, if you, yeah, right. If you say git on your terminal, on your command line, if you say git dash version,
yes,
and if you see this,
okay,
you're all good to go. I believe if you just say git, and if you see this, you're also good to go. If you don't see any error, but you see something you can do with the git, that's all fine as well.
thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that works as well. No, it doesn't. Okay. So we usually git dash version. That basically tells you the version of the Git software installed on your computer, and you're good to go. And yes, I do have. Perfect.
I have another question.
Yes, please.
So when I look at, so I have 3 different command lines open, the command prompt open from Linux to other stuff. And when I type, for example, Git version to Linux or Git CMD, as I mentioned, is 2.33. But when I do the bash, it shows a different version. I guess it's after the download. I don't know. But I never had downloaded before.
That's interesting. But that's fine. I mean, that doesn't really different with the Git versions.
Okay.
That doesn't really make changes like about the Git. If it is not 1, it's just above 2. So it's all fine, no problem. I'm also trying to connect through a Windows computer.
Please, sir.
Hello, yes.
Yeah, I went to my Windows. On my search bar and tap Git CMD. It's open. I went now on the screen, on the black screen, and make Git version, Git dash version. It give me Git version 2.23.0 Windows -2.2. Now, when I went on my research of Windows, I make a Git batch application. I open it.
Bash.
Now I went on the black screen. I make a Git dash version. It gives me the same information as Git CMD, Git version 2.33.0 Windows .2. No, I don't know which one I can use.
Yeah, I will try to show you from Windows computer. Okay, now I've connected with my Windows. Ulrich, will you able to make me also co-host from another computer? It says Gmail Windows, so I can share my Windows computer too. So I will show you magic. Can I share now? My Windows. Oh yes, I can. Beautiful. So just turn off unnecessary files first. Okay. Now I'm sharing my Windows too. You can switch screens. One of my computers sharing Mac screen and also sharing Windows at the same time. So once I share this one now, I believe it's changed to the Windows. So I think everybody will see Windows. But yeah, currently you should see Windows, right? Do you see Windows or Mac now?
From your screen?
Do you see a Windows screen or my current screen, the download with the Git?
Current screen, sir.
The Git download, yes?
Screen.
Okay. Now what you can do for Windows users, on top of somewhere, yeah, I think we got from Yusuf. It says there's one Gmail Windows on that green bar, and most probably on the top that Yusuf shared in the class chat. Thank you very much, Yusuf. I was telling this. So for Windows users, you can switch to Gmail Windows. The Mac users can stick with the Gmail only. So that's Mac, or let me change it to rename it to the Gmail Windows, if I can, not sure. Can I rename myself? I can, I think I can, yes, let me just.
Is this Windows 11?
Not sure, I don't know. Really, that's not mine. I mean, it's my wife's, so I'm not using Windows.
Because this is definitely Windows 11, I think.
Is it? All right. So I learned from you.
Oh no, it's not. It's just that the color is different. I thought it was Windows 11.
Okay, because I'm not really following up the Windows changes. Okay, now I have Gmail Mac and Gmail Windows. Okay, so you can see, but for the pair deck session, you will of course open the pair deck, so you can follow the slides as well. Okay, so what I have here, so it's my start menu. You can type here if you don't have the search button for the Windows users. Now I'm talking to Windows users. You can just hit this Windows button here, or on your keyboard, there's a Windows key. So then you can search for Git Bash, but I believe this is on your desktop already, but my desktop is quite clean and then I don't have any programs there. So I will just search for Git Bash. So that is the application you can use for the Git commands, and the Git Bash looks like this. Once you download the Git, it's most probably downloaded this application. So that's Git Bash. So once it opened, it will say your username and then your desktop and the name of your computer, and also say something WinGV64 something. But that's not important. The important part is this tilde. I think this screen is quite small for you. Let me increase the font size. All right, beautiful. Now you can see. For Windows computers, again, you have to switch to the Windows, as Yusuf said. Dennis, if you can look at this Yusuf's screenshot, he says he shows the picture for Windows users to switch to Windows. I'm talking over Windows now. So that is the Git Bash. But for Mac users, we are using terminal from the Mac. Basically, the terminal doesn't look like this. The terminal look like mostly this white screen and something, that one, usually this one. What important for us, this tilde here, the tilde. So this is very small. That's why I'll just switch over to here. Your terminal might have a few text like Windows had. But again, the important point is this tilde. Okay, even for the Windows users. So that tilde is the important. Tilde says, I am on your home folder. When you open your computer, everybody has a home folder. What is the home folder? The home folder is the folder that belongs to your username, your desktop, your photos, your files, and documents, downloads folder. They're all in the home folder. Okay, so let me find out in Mac and also Windows what home folder looks like first. Let me just open my home folder. Command Shift H2. You don't see it now, but you will see it soon. I have I have 5 things here anyway. Okay. Now you can see from my Mac and for my Windows. Let me open a file explorer and my home folder. Users, this and this. Okay. All right. So on the Windows, also on the Mac, I have opened my home folder. Okay. So this is my home folder. My desktop, my dev, documents, downloads, and Postman or movies, the music, pictures. So this is my home folder. And right now, in this code, in this terminal, I'm looking at my home folder. It says that you're in your home folder, which means this. And also for the Windows, same thing. That tilde says that you are on this folder now. Okay. All right. So if you just type git version in the both systems, like in the Windows as well, let's say git, if you have a git, I believe I have, and let's check on the Windows computer. I have 2.29, that's fine. And yeah, so it says that I have the git here on my computer, and also in my Mac, I've already checked, it says I have git version. Okay, and it's working fine. Now, what else we can do? Now we need to, now I'm on the pair deck, by the way. Now that Git needs to know you. Who are you? What is your name? What is your email? And well, your coding editor, we are using Visual Studio Code, but you don't really have to enter this. And also we can check out the Git config list. So if you haven't done this before, let's do it together. In Windows and Mac, everything is same. Okay, you can be on your Windows, you can be on the Mac, that's fine. The commands are same. So you will just type git config / global space user.name, and don't forget this quotation marks in Python. Remember, that's a string. Oh, by the way, my camera is off. Yeah, it's now on. Okay. So put your name. Okay, and the other thing is, after that, hit enter. The next, let's say git space config / there are space in between. So space, space, space. Then just say user.email space double quotes and your email address. And finally, git config / global core editor. Well, most probably you don't know what Vim is. Vim is a coding editor. Well, just type Vim for now. It's good to know, by the way. And enter. And then git config list will list if everything is correct. If not, if you make a typo, you can anytime type the same command and change it whatever you want. Okay, so once you make a mistake, don't worry. So you can just confirm git config / list. So you can see the list of your configurations. If that is wrong, you can run the same command again, just type and correct it, and you are all good to go.
Please, sir, which email can we put?
Your email, any email. The email that you want, you are planning to use with Git.
Sorry, Jamil, sorry.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
when I was typing the command line, I didn't put the quote for my email.
What happened?
It says dequote. How can I go back?
Ah, okay. I believe, okay, it's waiting for you to do something, right? Just type, just hit Control. Are you Windows user?
Mac.
Mac. Command C to stop that line. Hit Command first and C letter.
All right.
Did it work?
No.
Doesn't. What is asking for you is, do you see?
Quote. I think it means I missed the quote.
Okay, and then what the command? Can you share your screenshot and the Control Shift Command Shift 4 and paste in the class chat so I can see?
Yes, Mr. Jamil.
Yes.
Yeah, you said git config global core editor. We don't need to do it.
Yeah, you don't need to, but you can put in. So at least at the some time in the development process, you will find the Vim useful maybe. So you can put in. You don't have to. That's all up to you. Let me check what.
Yeah, we're gonna put the VIM.
Yeah, VIM is fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Decode. That's
Please,
interesting.
I'm confused. Can you help me?
Hold on, Betül, sorry. You can do, just put one more double quotes and hit enter.
Sure. I'll try.
Did it work?
Oh yes, now it went to the command line, so I can
Perfect.
type. Thank
It
you.
was, don't worry. Yes, I got one question. Sophie, was it you?
Yeah, I went on the command line and made git config that space dash global and put my name Sophie and went to enter, but the message is key does not contain a section Sophie. I don't know.
Because you forgot to put user.name in. Did you say user.name?
Yeah, or the username I just put Sophie, but I didn't use. I don't know if I'm supposed to use your name in the code.
What I understand from your saying is you typed git config --global and your name. Is that correct?
Yeah.
No, you have to say git config --global user.name and your name. You will change the orange area to your name. The white area, the white text is must. You have to type that.
Okay. And between config and dash global, should I put space?
There is space here, yes, space.
Okay.
There is space. Git is one command. Config is another command. --global is another. User.name is another. And space, then your name. Well, here the Ulrich has just sent what you have to put in. Thank you. So once you are done, you are ready to use Git Commands. Yes, if you check the class chat, you will just change the your name part to your name.
If you want to change our username, can I do the same it again?
Yes, of course. You can do. You can run the same command and you can change your name anytime.
Oh, sorry, this is just like Linux, right? We're just typing and then we get.
Kinda, yeah, kinda Linux. We are not typing Linux code yet. It's just Git codes because we are all starting with the Git command. So we are typing Git codes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. But if you're on Mac, it's Linux. If you're on Git Bash, it's also Linux commands you can run on the Windows computer. So the Git Bash, you can run the Linux commands. Yeah, for the verification, you can just say git config --list. Git config --list. Git config git config --list. The thing is $sign. You will never put $sign there. $sign is always there. So whenever you see the $sign thing on the website, then you will need to copy. Don't copy the $sign. Just copy the Git and after. So like Ulrich example, don't copy the $sign from the Ulrich code. Just copy the Git and the rest. Yeah, Betul, no worries. That happens every time when we start this. And even the Windows and the Mac separations, people, they are separating us from each other, from Mac users, from Windows users. All right. But that's fine. No problem. Just make it run. And once you do a mistake, don't worry. That's fine. You can do the code again. You can run the same code. Just change your name, change your email anytime you want. Okay, so that is basically the very first Git commands, but we will do these things only once at the beginning. It's not the workflow yet, but the workflow is super easy. Okay, and it's just new to you. You may find it difficult, but it's super easy. Don't worry. We will use it a lot. Then you will get a muscle memory automatically. You will not think which code was it. It's just simple codes we will practice today, and we will use it for almost any time in your professional career. Okay. So let's just jump into the next one. All right, now what do? Let's create a folder in Windows. So you can say again, like a resume example, if you want, because at the end of the day, and one day, you will create your resume, right? So you can start with creating your resume from startup. So, or anything you want, just let's say in our desktop, okay? I think Windows has a desktop too. Okay, in the desktop, okay, let's just create a new folder. Where is new folder? Here is a new folder, and for the Mac as well, and for the Windows. Oops, not the shortcut. And for the Windows, a new folder for the Windows. Okay, I believe I have hidden my desktop icon so it doesn't appear anything for the Windows computers. Just let me check. Let me just make it appear again. I'm not sure what I have on my desktop. Display, view, show desktop icons. Ooh, it's too crowded. I have many. Just quickly change my desktop. Just hide unnecessary stuff to a folder. Okay, I believe now I have a clean desktop. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. Now I can continue sharing. Okay. All right. Yes, I have, let me do again, a new folder in the Windows as well. So let's just say resume. So that's my resume folder for the Windows, and also for the Mac. Let's just give a name resume. It's just basically a folder. Is there a question? No question. Okay. So let's say this folder is a resume. It's just a folder. It's not a repo yet. To make it repo, first of all, for Windows users, it's so simple. For Windows users, right-click here. Okay. I'm now showing the Windows. Just git bash here. Okay. So that's just so simple. So just right-click on the folder you have created. It's an empty folder. Just say git bash here. So it will open up a new git bash screen. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger, okay, then you will see that it's your home screen. So tilde, I'm talking on the Windows. You can see my face is looking this way, so it means the Windows. If I'm looking this way, so that's Mac. So in the Windows computer, so we have a home folder. Inside the home folder, we have a desktop. Inside the desktop, we have a resume folder. That's what it says here, okay? All right, so this is what it says, resume folder. Now I'm in the correct folder. For Mac users, while your terminal open, drag and drop your folder on the terminal. But I forgot to say something. Okay. Before that, just type cd, which is change directory, and space for Mac users, cd space, drag and drop your folder onto your terminal and hit enter. Done. Do we do it again? Yeah, the Windows is always perfect. And for Mac is a little bit more practice, but that's fine. That's also the magic part. Mac, we did in Mac. Mac, have you followed the better? Yeah, well, on Mac, there is no right click and git bash here. Sorry, we don't have on Mac. Okay. All right, Sophie, right click on the Windows on your desktop, new and folder. That's how you create a new folder on your desktop, Sophie. Right click on the desktop, go to new and say folder. For a Mac user, right click, new folder. Okay, so now on the Mac, I'm in my folder, correct folder. So I can close this one now, yes? So that's now my correct folder. It says resume, but yours most probably saying the long version. Don't worry, that's fine. But we are on the same track now, resume. Even in the Windows, it says I'm on the resume now. Well, if you go back to the pave deck, the first thing, and just the first time we do when we are initializing a Git repo, Git space init. Init means initialize it. So now what we say first time while we are creating a Git repo, or we are turning a folder into a repo, we will just say Git init. But be careful. You have to be in the correct folder. Many of my students make a mistake. They don't go to resume folder. They do it in their home folder. Don't do that mistake. Go to your resume folder. Make sure there is somewhere on your screen it says resume, and then do it in there. Oh, there is a new version available. Remind me later. Serjan, CD there. I think that's, I hope it's fine. Why you don't see that in your terminal? Interesting. Why you don't see your file name, folder name?
May I ask a question, sir?
Yes, please.
This is Mine. Do we all need to have the resume folder? I just pulled one of my folder, which I have on my screen.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, if you want to, then you can change the folder. You can do any folder you want.
Because I don't have resume folder.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. We just right click and say new folder, and then we created that resume folder, basically. If you want, you can do that. Okay, resume. And all right, so Git init. The first time I will write Git init command here, and also in the Windows, Git init, I will make my folder actually be a repository. Hit enter, here I got. In Windows, I like the Windows part. it even says that if it is a GitHub repo, look at that. It says master. It doesn't say master to you. It says the branch name. Sorry. Master Jamil. It doesn't say master to me. Okay. So the good things in Windows, it's just mark with master. Master, if you see the master there, which means that folder is a Git repo. Okay, so now we make this a Git repo. On my terminal, will be the same thing actually. It will tell me that repo after you hit enter on the Mac. It also tells me, oh, it is a Git repository. Now, if your Mac also, if you want your Mac to look like mine, maybe we can have after class short lesson, so I can help you to make your Mac look like mine with colorful, and also shows you the Git very well. So if you want to, you can stay after the lesson so we can work on this. But maybe not this lesson, but the afternoon lesson. There's a DevOps lesson, you know, there's a lesson. So after that DevOps, we can do that because I think we need a break time. All right. Okay. So we can make your Mac look like mine if you want to. Okay. So it says I am on a Git repository now. That's really good. Okay. And so whenever I just go to my folder, I know there is a Git initialize there. Okay, there. So also in my Windows, it says master, which means now, yes, I am in my Git repository. So, or again, I know that there is a Git initialize inside this folder, so I don't have to run it again. So I will always know that it's a Git repo. Okay. All right. Git help will basically tells you what you can do with Git. So here is basically the commands that you can work on. So these are some commands you can work with. So git help is another command. But if you realize, it all starts with Git. If you don't have Git installed on your computer, that will give an error. But if you do, then you can run any other function. But please don't run now. We will do it together. So what is clone init? Init, you already know. Git init, the first time creating an empty Git repository or reinitialize an existing one. So it's Git init, Git add, Git mv, Git restore, Git rm, Git sparse checkout, Git bisect, Git diff, Git grep, log, show, status. So we will learn all this, okay, during the lesson. So don't worry if they are just look too much for you. Okay, don't worry. All right, the another command we run is git version. So there's one -- version. All right. And you can even check the git status. So whenever you want to see the status, the current status of your Git repo, just say git status. I do this a lot. Okay, during the project, I do this a lot. I check the status first to see what is the latest status I left off when I start the next day in the job. So I check what I've done before. Did I commit? What changes I made? So I see here first before I make more changes. So it says me, I am branch master. So I'm not the master. My branch name is the master. So it's just tell me that it's a Git branch and it's the master. So in Windows, it doesn't tell you the Git, but it tells you the master in the parentheses, which means you're on the Git repo and the master is your branch. The second thing you will get is the no commits yet, commit. So we will come to that, commit, and then nothing to commit because we have no files to commit. It's just empty folder, so we have nothing in it. Okay, I believe we are coming end of the session. So let's see. Okay, we will stop here because we will not do this now. But we will continue with the Git workflow in the next session. Or maybe we can do one practice with it to just know. But I believe we will do this when we start GitHub. So we can leave it to the GitHub. basically. Okay, just skip this part. Do we have any questions?
No, sir. I just think that we, some of us are having technical issues. Maybe they can set their setup and then we can practice this.
Yes, can you repeat again?
So I was saying just that some of our friends are still having technical issues. Maybe we can, when we have a smooth transition, then we can do the practicing so we don't have problems.
Well, so what do you offer? Shall in the break time? Shall we fix?
Yeah, one of our friends, for example, we're trying to still download the home group, and she couldn't catch up. So, yeah.
Ah, that Mac.
Yes, that's why I'm just trying to help.
Yeah, that Mac computers. There's okay. Just before go to the break, let me just see. Yeah, it just take time if you're on the Mac computers. The one thing is that to installing the brew, yes, that's fine. So you can install the brew first, homebrew, then you can run this. The other things that you could do this something with the Xcode, but it takes long times again. But if you want me to check out, then let me see if I can create a breakout room so I can. What is it?
I'm also Mac user. When we say download the Git, it takes a couple of time, but then we don't need to homebrew. It comes automatically in it.
All right. I have now created a breakout room. Now I'm opening the breakout room. You will see, I think, to choose or go to the room if you want to. So I have one room available. If you want, in the break time, I can check out. So there's one room. So click join button, the next to the room one. So if you want me to check your computer, so let's meet up there. So we have 15 minutes. The rest of you, lucky Windows users, I will see you 15 minutes later.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I am mute. I was mute. Hello again. It's me. So we have fixed some issue there in the breakout room. All right. So I will repeat that resume part once again, because it doesn't take too long. And after we follow up this workflow, then all good. Then let me just okay. Do you still see my Windows screen? If you don't, I will share again my Windows screen too. Okay. So now I have my Windows screen and also the Mac screen open at the same time. Whenever you want to switch, you can switch to Mac or Windows anytime. So once again, some of us forgot the space in here, so it just cause a problem, but not that serious. So you can close your terminal and open again. That's all fine. So you can do it again. Don't worry. So where's my terminal? This is my terminal. Let's talk about the resume part once again. Resume is just a folder that I want to make a repo. Let's remember from our presentation. Here, this one. What is a repository? The repository is a folder or a directory or a storage that you want to make your project live. That's it. Now, resume folder is just a folder at the beginning, okay? So I will delete this folder. I will close my terminal too. Let me delete this resume folder, even from my Windows. Let's do it again. All right. It's very hard to use at the same time. So I'm going to right click, and then go to the new folder and just create a folder. This is just a new folder, a blank folder. So if you want to make any folder that you already have, that's all fine. You don't have to create. But me, I just want to create a project. So like our resume example in the Paired Deck slides, that I want to create a resume folder. It's just a basic folder. Okay, so I'm going to click in new folder, and now I will rename this folder resume. Okay, that's it, resume folder. So that's just a folder again, any folder that you store your files in, but this time we will make some changes on it, which is we'll turn it to a repository, okay, with Git init. That's it. Now we need a terminal. For Windows, we are using Git Bash. So for Windows computers, I'm going to right click on the folder I have just created and then just say Git Bash here. That's it. And for Macs, we don't have that. And I need to open my terminal first. Here is my terminal. I need to open up my terminal first. Okay, this is my folder. This is my terminal in the Mac. But for Windows, it's just so simple. Right click and Git Bash here, and you're all good to go with your folder. And then I will zoom in. Okay. For Mac computers, I will just cd, which means change directory. It's a command. It says change directory to where? To this folder. I want to change my directory to this folder. That's why I'm dragging and dropping to just get the full path to my folder, my username, desktop, and resume folder, and enter for the Mac. Now I'm done. I'm now currently on the resume folder here, and also for the Windows, I'm on my resume folder. It's something like you double click and you open your folder up, but in the command line. Okay, so there is nothing graphical here, but it's basically now you double clicked and open your folder. It's the same thing that you do in here, okay, but it's in command line. CD is just like double click and you open the folder. I hope that's clear. By the way, let me check this like if there's a question. Now, again, this is just a folder. So I want to make this folder a repository. Only way I can make this a repository is to just say git, okay, and init, right? Okay, the git init is the first time we will run if you want a project folder to be a version controlled. If you want this project folder a repo, if you want this project folder a Git repo, then we will run this command. Because we are in the Git lesson, of course we will do. That's it. Once you have this, maybe not everyone, but you most probably will get similar things to the master. If you don't have, don't worry. For the Mac users, for Windows users with the Git Bash, is most probably you will get the master keyword there. But for the Mac users, for the DevOps lesson, I will walk you through to set up a better terminal for your Mac computers, like a dev, like a developer. All right. So now I'm in the Git now. This is initialized as a Git repository. If I double click, it's just a folder. It still seems blank, but it is now a repository. Okay. So let's get back to the Paired Deck and let's find out the exercise we will do today. All right. Now, if you look at this slide in the Paired Deck now, we have on our working directory currently. So whenever we want to make some changes, like creating a new file, so we will create a new file today, and then we will put it to the staging area. I will explain soon, very, very soon. Just let me explain this part first. By the way, did I miss anything? No, I didn't. Okay. Oh, yeah. And once I am done, I will commit to the repository. So we have three areas while we're working in a Git project. So one is the working directory. It's basically this resume is my working directory. I will work on it. I will create files. I will edit files. I will delete files. I will add more files. I'll add pictures. Let's talk about HTML. So you will create some HTML. So let's create a website in here. So that's just a folder that I will work on. So that's why I'm calling it working directory. Once I make my changes, I need to put those changes to a staging area I will explain. Then I will put it to the repository side. Then we will complete workflow. So that's basically the Git workflow. Even if you're a, professional developer, there is no unprofessional developer. You are a lat developer or anything. So then we will all do this workflow again and again with some comments. I think the breakout room is still open. I think there is still student in the breakout room. Let me close up the breakout rooms. It will be closed anyway. Okay. All right. So again, we need some commands to do them. Okay. So the committed. So these three things have to not to be memorized. I'm against to memorizing the things, but we will have some changes to be committed. And there are some changes which we call modified. So some files will be modified. Some files is not modified, but committed. And some files will be on the stage. I will explain all those three terminology again in the example. Okay. Now, let's create a file together. File1.tag, or just say not file1, but it's good to have the file1 so we can count up the files. Okay, let's say file1.txt on our computer. Well, to make it, you can right click and you can create a new file in the Windows. So like this. So in Windows, you can right click and you can just create a new file and call this file, but let's do it in the command line. Touch file1.txt. Let's do this. I'm in my resume folder. Let's type touch. Even in the Windows, Git bash, you can run the same command. Touch the file name. This is how to create a file. File1.txt. Okay, let's create this file. Touch. Touch is the command, a Linux command that creates a file on your folder. Now, it created a folder. Sorry, it created a file. If you don't believe, double click and correct it. See, there's a file1.txt there. Now, the other way that you can see on your command line is ls, which is list. Then it shows the file txt1 is there. Okay, ls. ls is another command, lists all the files and folders on your current folder. I'm in my resume folder now. ls command just list all the files in my folder, resume folder. Oh, you have already learned this. Perfect. Ooh, very nice. Thanks for reminding me too. Sorry, the mine. All right. So, very nice. I didn't know that. Okay, so now I have created a file there. So also they created a file in my Windows. So I have that file. Perfect. So what is next? Oh, Vim. That was a question from a student. What is Vim? Vim is a code editor like our, let's say, VS Code, but little bit old. However, it's still popular. Interesting. So let's type Vim is a command and the file name file1.txt. This will open file1 in Vim editor. So I will do the same thing in the Windows. Here it is, my empty file. It's empty. It's just a text editor. Okay, so now whatever you want, we will add here. So what it says, let's add something here. Let's add some text. Okay, the problem is once you try to type, it will not take action at the minute. But in Vim editor, we have to know something. For example, there is 2 modes in the Vim: edit mode and the view mode, or insert mode or the view mode. If you try to type and if it doesn't type, which means it's in the view mode, and it usually is. So for example, in Windows, it doesn't work, but after a few times you try, it will turn to the insert mode. If it doesn't, just type I letter on your keyboard, then it will turn to the insert mode, I letter. Okay. So type I, and now we will continue adding some. This is file 1, and just type anything you want. Okay. So here is my changes. This is my file. File 1, sorry. Of course, this is my file. Okay. Now, after you make your changes, how can we save it in Vim editor? Okay, now we need a colon key. Oops, escape, sorry. Hit escape first. So it will turn it to the view mode. Look, the insert text is released now. If I just type I again, so insert here, which means I can now insert some text. But if I hit escape, then it will be now in a view mode that I can run my commands. So here is insert mode. So I will just hit escape once again in the Windows computer. So now I'm in the saving, so I can run some commands. The saving command and quitting command at the same time, we need a colon. If you look at here, shift, I type with the shift, so we need a colon. So whatever your colon sign is, then I will say W, which is write, which means save, and Q. So this is my Vim code that I save and quit. Okay.
Sir.
Yes.
This is Jello. After escape, what did you do, sir?
Oh, okay. Let's do this again. So 2 things I want you to remember: the letter I and escape. Letter I will turn it to the insert mode, so you can type in whatever you want. So it works. Look, it works. So the other thing is the command part, view part, only the displaying part, so no inserting, which is escape. So we hit escape, then insert text is disappeared. Now you can't edit, you can't add text, but now we will save our file. How? We need that. If you look at the down left bottom corner of the screen, I will enter this colon. Here is this colon. It's somewhere on your keyboard. I don't know where. It differs.
For Windows, we have something. I have something different. It says like file.txt plus Unix. The time.
Yeah. So you don't see my Windows computer?
No, sir.
Okay, but my Windows computer is also shared. Somewhere on the. Do you see the green bar on your screen?
Yes.
Can you click some? There is drop down there.
Oh, now I see it, sir. Yes, thank you.
There is a Windows Mac, Jamil Windows. So as you see, Jamil Windows has the file txt something Unix blah blah blah. So we have this colon. To save the file, we say W, which means write, and to quit, we say Q. Then it's write and quit. Then we will hit enter. Once we enter, we saved our file and save it and quit it. We make some changes now. Okay, if you missed this part, I will quickly recap. You don't have to do the same thing. I have touched a file. So this is my touch file1.txt, the first command, which creates this file for me. The second one, I open it with the second command, vim file1.txt. That is opening this file for you. To edit it, I need to hit I letter on my keyboard to edit this file. So now I can edit. Okay. All right. So we add some text. Now I will hit escape, colon, W, Q. I'm running all this on the Mac computer, by the way. And done. This is what I did. Now, my file has changes. Do you know how can I see that those changes? Git status. Look at the magic now. Da-da-da-dum. It says now the file1.txt has been created, but it is untracked. So now we are working on Git workflow. If you look at the pair deck, it's now we are on here, the workflow thing. So we are now running on the workflow. Okay. The first thing is we have created a file and it's now untracked. It's there, but Git is not tracking the changes yet. Okay, so that's what it says. Red color, it says that untracked files. So this is now untracked. Git is not tracking the changes. Okay, so do we have any more comments here? Okay, now this is, let's say, the file1.txt. I'm on pair deck now. Resume.txt, or just let's say file1.txt. So this file is now untracked again. Git is not tracking until I put it to the staging area. This will be untracked. All right. So how can I put this stuff in my staging area? That's next command, git add. Let's do it. Git add. But before we type git add, again, when we say git status, it gives us a red color file name and it says untracked files. Now in pair deck, I am going to say, or I'm going to pass the new file to the staging area in Git. It's in my folder. It's in my folder. It's in my working directory, but it's not in Git system yet. So I will put it here by just having this command, git add. Okay, git add. What? Git add the file name. Git add, what is your file name? File1.txt. So again, file1.txt. I'm going to put that into the staging area now, just by adding file. That's it. Git add file.txt. Enter. What is changed? Let's say git status again. If we check the git status again, oh, it turned to the green. It says that now it's tracked because it's now staged. Look, just do
so
this.
on Windows, so this is Sami. On Windows, it gives a warning. The LF will be replaced by CRLF.
That's fine, I believe. My Windows didn't give that error. If you look at my Windows computers, it doesn't give any error. Okay. Oh, I opened two Git bash. Did I? Oops. Where is other Git bash? Interesting. Let's open again. Git bash here. Okay. Git status. Okay. Now this red text turned to the green, which means I'm now in the staging area. So this is next step. So this folder is moved to the staging area, which means Git is tracking the changes. Okay, Git tracks the changes. All right, so in the next slide, it tells us that Git add file name. There's other way. If you don't want to add the file names, maybe sometimes you have created many files, multiple files. I'm on Peer Deck, by the way. You say git add dot, which means all files. Okay, so git add all the files. Again, if you have many files, then we don't have to type one by one. So we just say git add all. Okay. Or another thing is git add -a, but I mostly use this one. Or if you just want to stage modified and deleted files only, so that's the other thing you can use. But again, we basically use this second one mostly. Git add dot. Okay, so this is how we added to the staging option, but not finished yet. The one more thing we have to complete. Push to the repository. It's now in the staging area. It's not in the repo yet. It's being tracked, but it's not yet in the repo. To put it in the repo is git commit -m. Let's do it again in the terminal. So git commit -m. Don't hit enter, please. I believe some of you did already. Git commit -m. Then, as we said before, we need an explanation sentence for here. Let everybody know what happened there. So double quotes for writing a string from Python class. Explain what you did. Add first line. First line. That's it. This is what I did actually. Add first line. Okay, so I include my message. Git commit. This is the third functionality I'm working on. And then enter. Now my file is in the repo. So I put it into repo. Git add, git commit. That's it. Git status to check the status, git add and git commit. Git add and git commit. We will do this a lot. That's it. This is basic workflow, and we will almost always stick with that. Unless we make some conflicts, unless we make some releases. But again, that's the basic workflow. Git add, git commit. Git add, git commit. Now, let's check the status once again. Git status is basically checking the status, doesn't do an action. Just git status, check the status. So let's just check the status once again. Status has been updated to this. Nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. In my Windows, say something else. No commits yet. So, which means I have moved my changes to the repo. Okay. So we did this already. Git commit -m with a message. We did this already. All right. Okay. So we were in our working directory at the beginning. We make some changes and we say git add. So put that file to the staging area. Before staging area, we can't skip staging area to just commit. No, we can't. We have to push it to the staging area by just saying git add file name or git add dot, then staging area. Then say git commit with a message to push it to the Git repo. GitHub, we haven't connected to the GitHub yet. We are working on our local Git repo. And the checkout things, we will talk to this later. But this is basically what we always do. Git add, git commit, git add, git commit, git add, git commit. That's the basic workflow. Let's do several times. So this is a new project for you to do, but let's add more changes and let's see what has been changed. Okay, now let's open the file again with Vim. I don't see that's it. Vim. Okay, Vim file 1.txt. Okay, let's open with Vim now. You decided to add more lines. Okay, insert mode I. Now I'm in the insert mode. Go to the end and let's add something. This is second line. Done. Do the same thing. This is second line. Okay. Now I have made some changes now. Save it, escape first, and then WQ, write and quit. WQ. Don't forget the colon. Okay, so there's a colon here. Look. Also in Windows, there's a colon there. There, the colon. And then just enter. Let's check status. That's all about the Vim. Now it's the Git part. Git status, Git add, Git commit. That's all. Let's say Git status. Oh, it says that there are some changes here. It's now red. Before it says there is nothing to commit, but now it says there is untracked stuff in this file because we need to put that into the staging area. Git add all. Let's see, before we git add, let's check one more thing. Git diff. Git diff. Difference. Show me the difference, previous version and the new one. Git diff. Enter. Uh-oh, look at this, what it says. It says one line has been added. There's a plus sign. So that's the previous one. And the green line is this last change. Look at this. The last change says that I have, plus sign means I have added a new line, a new text, let's say. The first one is from the previous version. And the second line is from my new version. This is the change. This is the diff. Okay, that's it. It showed me the diff, git diff. Q, type Q. For Mac, for Windows, do nothing. Okay, so git add, git commit, that's it.
Lisa, what is the meaning of LF and CRLF in warning?
Just ignore it. Just ignore that. Don't worry. It's about the ending. You are using Windows, aren't you? Sophie.
Yeah, I'm using Windows.
Yeah, because the Git stuff is usually working the Linux side, Linux part. Windows ending with the Git is different than Linux. It's just giving the message that, yes, your commits will be Unix ending, but you are using Windows. So just making some configuration at the backend. So don't worry about this.
Okay.
It's Windows and Linux thing. Okay. All right. So now workflow. What do you do? Git add, git commit. Let's do that. Git add. This time, let's say dot. Okay. Git add dot. The first thing. Second, git commit with message. Git commit with message. What? So I will enter some message here. Git commit with message. Let's enter some message. I add a new line. Second line, let's say. second line to the document. So explain what is the change. The thing doesn't change is the change itself. Okay, this second. Yeah, I'm multiprocessing. And Windows and the Mac. All right. So I'm get used to it. In the Git lesson, this happens. I'm get used to it, so don't worry. Okay. Second line. Okay, now I'm now committing it. Enter. Okay. Now wait. Look, the Git in the Windows gives me error. You didn't set up your username and you didn't set up your email. So anytime you haven't configured that in the Windows computer, it will ask you to run these commands to put your email address and your name. If you don't, it just say, we are unable to auto-detect your email address, sorry. So if you don't, I will just keep your name at desktop and your computer name as an email. That's all fine. Anytime you can change it, okay? Don't worry. All right. So now Git status. Now it's clean. That's it. Once we have a change, what we will do is git add and git commit. Done. That's so simple. That's that simple. Git add, git commit. Okay, that's it. What is git status and git diff? Git status is just show the status of the repository. Is there anything to commit? Is there any file I have changed? Let's do one more time. Open the file again. Vim, so I can find out file. Okay, Vim. Let's open this again. Open the file again. This time, let's remove the second line. Insert mode, and then delete the file. That's the practice. Delete the file, delete the line, sorry. Okay, just the second line. Save it, escape, colon, WQ, enter. Do the same thing for the Windows. Delete the second line with insert mode on. Delete it. And escape, colon, WQ. Let's check git diff. Can we change? Can we check? Yes, we can. Git diff. Look at this now. The second line is deleted. Minus and red color. This is second line. This is the difference. Yes, just checking what has been changed. For Windows, for Mac computer, sorry, I type Q to end this. It says end of the file, end of the explanation. Just Q to quit it. For Windows, I don't have to do anything. So it says that this is changed. What is the workflow? Git add all, enter, git commit message. And your message. Delete second line. Git commit with message. By the way, if you're wondering how can I quickly come up with the previous commands, I'm using arrow keys on my keyboard. Up and down arrow keys on the keyboard can move back to your previous codes. The terminal always store your previously typed strings. So that's why whenever you use your arrow keys up and down, so you can get back to your previous codes you have run before. Now I will just delete second line. And enter. Yes, who is this? Any question? Okay, I heard something. All right, oops. That's because of in the Windows. Actually, it's Windows. I didn't enter my username and mail, so that's why it's the error giving. But don't worry, that's the workflow. Git add, git commit. Yes. I think I explained Sophie's question. What can we do with the warning of Windows? Just ignore. Yes, Alperen explains you got the same error. That's because of the Windows and the Linux thing. Because the Git, when you commit, Git tries to store your file endings as a Linux, but because you are using Windows, they have the different endings. So it's just giving a warning that I am converting your Windows endings to the Linux endings. That's all fine. Just ignore it. So we got some screenshot from Jalud. Jalud, I don't know what did you do there. Can you try escape and try to colon again? And don't give space, please. There's a space there. So space is not a command. Right after the colon, try Q and W. Not space Q, W. I believe that's the play. That's why it's wrong. Let's try. We open the file and let's try space write and quit. Oh, it did. Maybe you type QW. That might be the problem. You try to quit first and then write at the same time. Try write first, W, and then Q then. Jalul?
Yes, sir. So
W first, then Q. Oh, thank you, Sophie. It's good to see everybody. I'm not sure. I hope everybody's on track, and I hope you didn't get lost. And then,
yes, sir. That was the mistake. W first. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, what is next in the pay deck? That's the workflow. The git init at the first time. All these arrangements like git config, username, and email. It's just the first time. When you are initializing a project, it's git init just one time. And after that, whenever you make some changes, you will git add and you will git commit. That's all. We have some more. I've just passed them. We have some more to just say git checkout to remove everything from the repo to the working directory. Don't track that. So it's just git checkout. So don't worry. We will use this later. And also you can just say git rm cache, which means that just remove. Rm means remove. Remove all the staging area. So get back to the working directory. Don't track any changes. So whatever you make the git add, this is the just reversing of the action of git add. So there is no git remove, but it says git remove cached. So git add, the opposite of git add is git remove rm, actually double bash and cached. Okay, so that's how you can remove it. Or there's another action, just git restore staged is also whatever is in the stage, just restore it. And yeah, you committed, but you just figure out you made a mistake. Then say git checkout. That's it. Okay, that's basically is another graphic showing you the working directory is the directory or folder you're working on your local computer is working directory. When you say git add is the staging area. And when you say git commit, put all the commands to the repo, done. And whenever you just want to get back and don't want every file in the git repo, just git checkout. That's it. Or reversing all the action back. I mean, I didn't get question. Oh yes, Emine, after the DevOps class today, if you stay, I will walk you through for Mac users to set up a dev machine with the terminal, okay? So just wait. You don't need to save your terminal to file, do you? I never tried this. Oh, do we? There is a history. Let's check this. I didn't know that, Yusuf. I'm learning too. Whoa, it's first thing I'm learning. Aha, not only you are learning, I'm also learning. Oh, look at this. It's 5,299 codes I have run since the beginning. It's not too much. Aha moment. Yeah, it's aha moment for me. Oh, 3 will summarize. Wow, nice. Beautiful. Beautiful. I've never used this. That's good. All right. All right. Perfect. Perfect. Now, what else we have? We have a few more things left, I believe, but nothing. There's just a task. So this is task for you. We have 15 minutes to the end of the class. Now, in what you can do now is create a new folder. Or I don't know, I think you have a project tree folder.
Can I ask a question quick?
Yes, of course, anytime.
Can we do like creating a folder? Can we do with the Linux command with the mkdir instead of like doing it manually on the desktop?
Okay, can you repeat again?
So, you know, like we creating a folder on the desktop manually with the right click, right? So we can do that with the make directory command on Linux. If you do that, it's still gonna create the folder on desktop.
Yeah, right.
I
didn't know that actually you got Linux class, so that's why why I didn't know that you knew the commands to create a folder. That's the thing. So that's why I just basically show you right click and create a folder. But yeah, you can create a folder.
Okay.
So you got the lesson, so you know how to change directories. Oh, beautiful. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's nice. Oh, make directory command. Yes, Betul. Good. I didn't know that. Perfect. All right. So here's the things. Here's the deal. Create a folder, add a file, change the file with Vim, stage the file, which is git add, and commit. Okay. So waiting for you. If you have any question, let me know. I'm here. But I will find my water bottle. My water bottle is missing. I don't know where I put it. I'll be back, but I'm listening to you. If you have any question following the Slack, just my camera will be off while I'm looking. You don't want to see me while I'm finding my water bottle. So that is the task. Create a new repo. How to create a new repo? You first create a folder, and Git init will create a repo for you. So the task is for you, okay? This task is waiting for you. All right, so yeah, you can do it in terminal. We got also responses here, I believe. Yeah, that's all fine. So you have created a project tree, you have touched the file, you have just Vim the file, you have make some changes. Then we add file, press I. Wait, that I should be belongs to the Vim actually. Just a little confusion here. Don't worry, no problem. WQ, commit message. All right, so this git add should be before commit. I don't know whose answer is this. So I believe it's now changing. Yes, perfect. So that will be the Vim file. Yeah, so add tags. Perfect. Now it's all correct now. Oh, perfect. Nice. I mean, you could do it here. Don't worry. You could do on your terminal. That's all fine. It's just for you, for yourself. And yeah. But if you just want to also, oh, that's something really creative. It's the last comments you have run. So here is the list, all the comments the latest comments you have run for this project. Beautiful. Good idea. Yeah, don't worry. You can type history and copy paste the last changes you have done on your terminal. Paste it here if you want to be appeared here, and that's all fine. Okay. So, so we have actually again the similar tasks to creating the file. So if you look at that, now it's the same thing we have done several times. The text file 2, the text file 3. So if you want to continue after this lesson, so this is the task 2. You can take a screenshot of this if you want to make this exercise at home, because we are almost end of the day. I mean, end of the lesson. So yeah, you got from the Mina. Thank you very much. And so this is the task solution, but don't copy. And so that's all Git. We use those things really. Git init, Git status, Git add all, Git commit, and I didn't show you Git log, but Git log show you all the commit list for you. Let me show real quick. Git log. It shows all the commits you have done before, this and that. So if you want to end, just say Q and you quit it. That's it. So Git log is basically showing all the logs. And yeah, Git checkout is anytime you want to get back to your working directories as the Git checkout. That's all the thing. Git add, Git commit mostly. Git add and commit too many times. All right. Yeah, we got another image from Ulrich. So that's about remote, by the way, but we didn't talk about remote yet. Remote will be our GitHub. So we will come to that GitHub part soon in other GitHub lessons, Git lessons. But for now, we are working on the local repo. So from the Ulrich image, we can do everything until the local repo. But when we start learning the GitHub, then we will Git pull and Git push, as Ulrich said in the Slack chat. So I believe that's all for today. And that's all. There you go. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you afternoon, 1 more hour later. With the DevOps lecture. Actually, it's not too much practice there. So we will talk about the DevOps and how that all DevOps stuff works. And so take care and see you again. Let the music come, Ulrich.
May I ask a quick question?
Oh, yes, of course.
On my Mac, I don't need to click the Q button. Whenever I give a command, it just returns to the, where we write the commands. So what is the difference between yours and mine? Well, interesting. Oh, maybe because of my terminal is quite different. That's the thing. So if you don't need, that's fine. No problem. Okay, thank you. I just wondered the reason.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. No worries. Yeah, in Windows also, it doesn't wait for the quit. I think it's because of the terminal I'm using. Yeah, I believe that's fine. No problem. I'll see you again. Take care and see you soon.